I am live. The computer tells me I am live. And so we find ourselves. It is 11:58 a.m. It is Saturday, April 10th. And we're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. My name is Terry Klein. You might be watching live. You might be watching on at some time other than live. What is that called? Watching a replay? I don't know. But here we are, as I have said. And what I am going to do right now is I'm going to share this little live stream, so that everybody knows who's on Facebook that I'm live right now. That's something you can do too. It costs nothing, and it's helpful for the algorithm. So I think I just posted that I'm live right now. I think I did. Some folks are getting on. Hey, Jim Carroll, thank you as always for your post, letting folks know that I am live. I am live. It is 11:59 a.m. It is April 10th. And I'm inside. I'm in the writing room today. Why is that? Well, there are two reasons. And you can possibly even hear one of them. Hey, Eric. I'm inside, number one, because the pollen counts outside are ridiculous. You know, I lived in Boston for a lot of years, and there would be pollen there. The pollen right now, everything is growing here. It's tree pollen, it's flower pollen, it's grass pollen. And so if you spend like more than 10 minutes outside and you are sensitive to such things, and I think I am, it just comes and gets you. So that's one reason that we are inside this week. The other reason that we are inside this week is I think that I get a better Wi-Fi signal in here. I think I get a better Wi-Fi, and that's important because that means that you get better sound and better video. Though the seeing of me, let's be honest. The seeing of me is less important than the hearing of me. I don't have a set list. I'm seeing all these folks pop in and say hello. Just hi to every single one of you. It's great to see you all here. Claudia, Charlie, Mom, Eric, Ann, Adam. Adam asked me to play the new. I think I'm gonna play something new for you. I'll get to that. But let's start with the first good one I ever wrote. How do you feel about that, everybody? Welcome. Thanks for being here. I stand on a battered limestone wall, trying to keep a grip on my nerves. I've been up here long as I can recall, forsaken by the masters I still serve. On my best days, I remain unsure that I can be your watchman anymore. This cold wind is too bitter for me. Cuts through my coat and straight into my bones. I stare out at the wild and angry sea and shift my weight atop these ancient stones. I'm weary of this unforgiving shore, and I can't be your watchman anymore. Gonna keep these torch fires burning try to stay awake. This outpost ain't my prison, and to die here ain't my fate. It was a just and worthy cause, but I have to say that I have had my fill. So I'm handing off these burdens I have borne, and I won't be your watchman. No, I won't be your watchman. No, I won't be your watchman anymore. That song is called Watchman. Hey, Andy Tyson. That song is called Watchman. It is the first song on the first record I ever put out, which is fitting because it's the first song I wrote that I think is good. And some other good ones have come along since then, but that one feels special to me for that reason. We have no set list, as I've noted. This is the weekly live stream. I appreciate y'all tuning in. It's nice to see you here. It's Saturday, April 10th. We're just after noon. And we're doing these things for the time being on Saturday at noon here. And it's just a pleasure to be doing them again after taking a few months off of doing them. Next week is going to be kind of touch and go. Next week will be touch and go. Next Thursday, I will be going in to get the second Moderna shot. And that'll happen late on Thursday. Thursday late afternoon. I've heard that it is a 24 to 48 hour period in which your body is just like, what is happening? And so I might not be back to myself on Saturday at noon. I might not. I don't know. If I am, we'll be here. If I'm not, we won't. It's actually pretty straightforward. That judgment will belong to me. I don't have a staff I'm going to run that by. It's just, we're just going to have to see what happens. Oh, I have no idea what I'm going to play. I just don't know what I'm going to play. Part of the reason I'm talking right now so much is that I just don't know what I'm going to play. I really don't. I have a new one that I'm going to play at some point this hour that I wrote with Jackson Emmer. And as you know, if you know me, if you know my stuff, if you've seen me, the songs that I write with Jackson tend to be pretty cool. So I'm going to share that at some point. You know what I'm going to play right now? Gosh darn it, just... I'm going to play the Scott Nolan song that I open all of my Sunday New World Deli shows with. Those are coming back. They will be back. And I'll have more to say about that in a moment. Arkansas, my head hurts. I'd like to stick around and maybe make it worse. I got a girl out in Henrietta. Her love's like tornado weather. Girls like this keep me trying. She goes off like an air raid siren, coming clean, leave torn apart. A bad liver and a broken heart. A bad liver and a broken heart. Indian summer, Oklahoma sunset. If there's a nicer place, I haven't been there yet. I'm standing outside of the blue door, too tired to sleep, too drunk for more. It's nights like these that keep me trying. Woman always knows when a man is lying. It ain't me, I'm just playing a part. A bad liver and a broken heart. A bad liver and a broken heart. I'll get old for I'm good at this. Who's the president? What year is it? Doesn't anybody care about truth anymore? Maybe that's what songs are for. She's the wind and I'm on fire. This line of work, no one retires. Coming clean, leave torn apart. A bad liver and a broken heart. 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 That song is by Winnipeg, Manitoba's finest, Mr. Scott Nolan. Hayes Carl put that song on his Trouble in Mind record, which is a very important record to me and just sort of my artistic development. And if you don't know it, you should listen to it. Let's see here. Jim Carroll has asked me to play a song, and I really love Jim and treasure him as a member of our Austin musical community, and so I'm going to play it. Gosh darn it. If there's something that you want to hear, drop it in the comments. I try to just keep the comments in the corner of my eye, because if I look at them too closely, if I focus on them too much, I get distracted. And, well, kind of hilarity ensues when I get distracted. We're trying to maintain a certain level of quality control in these live streams, a certain level that you can trust, that you can come back to. And that's the goal. This song is called That Used to Be My Train. Yes, 400 tons of steel and rust rumbling down the line. It's the 718 local man, it's making every stop. They're standing in the aisle. They're checking on the markets, staring at their phones. A woman with a Bible sits and prays. That used to be my train. Yes, I'd stare out the tempered glass at hemlock and oak and white pine, crammed into the middle seat. Well, that local kept rolling down the line. My tie was tied too tight. I was sweating in my suit. My soul shot up with an Novocaine. That used to be my train. I'm not quite sure when it happened or what made up my mind, but I said, for the love of all that's good and right, I'm through. I put away my briefcase. It's in a closet gathering dust with the carpet beetles chewing on my suits. Now from the top of Primrose Hill, I can see that local rolling by. There's a melody that's after me, and words getting gathered up in lines. Well, some folks might say I'm reckless. I respectfully disagree. I just did something crazy to get sane. That used to be my train. 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 That song is called That Used to Be My Train. And you know, that's one where, you know, there are songs I write where I get an image or a story or a notion in my head that comes just from somewhere else. I don't know. And there are songs, and then I try to inhabit that, and I try to make it mine, and make it true. And then there are the true stories that come to me that I just have to try to honor them, and make the song reflect my truth. That song that used to be My Train is one of those latter ones. It's in that latter category. And yes, I used to ride the commuter rail to work in Boston, from West Roxbury, which is part of the city of Boston. It's a neighborhood, kind of an outlying neighborhood in Boston, and you ride it in through West Roxbury, Roslindale, Jamaica Plain, Roxbury, South End, and then you're at South Station. And after the Roslindale stop, just as you're kind of heading into Jamaica Plain, on the left side, as you're heading into town, there is the Arnold Arboretum, which is a Harvard University Arboretum, and it's pretty big, and it's beautiful at all times of year. At all times of year. When it's snowy, it's gorgeous. When it's spring, it's obviously incredible, and in the summer, it's super lush. And I remember riding on those commuter rail trains, and you sit there and you pass by the Arboretum, and the part of the Arboretum right along the tracks is a big expanse of green grass on kind of a hill, a gentle hill. And I would see people out there walking their dogs and just kind of being out in nature. I would see them out there in the mornings. And I would look out the window and I would think to myself, man, I just really wish I were on the outside looking in instead of the opposite. And this was probably before I started writing songs. It was when I was disillusioned, and searching and trying to figure out what my place was, what my purpose was. And if you fast forward a few years, ultimately, the place where a lot of the records on the first song got written. A lot of the songs where they got written was me walking around the Arboretum in the morning. I would get up early. I would get the breakfast for the kids, for the girls, and Lindsay would go off to work, and I'd get the girls to school. This was right before we moved out of Boston. And early in the morning, I would walk to the Arboretum, and then I would walk around the Arboretum, and sometimes through lots of great little paths there. And I would see the train that I used to ride. And so that's where that song came from. Ramsey asked me to play this song, which is one of the songs that happened on one of those walks through the Arboretum, to and through the Arboretum. This is one of the tunes that it feels also logical and obvious now as I sing it and play it, but it took a whole lot of just wrestling with it over the course of a couple weeks. The chorus came fast, but the rest of it was just kind of like, the words were all there, they were all sitting on the page, but they didn't make any sense really. This is Everywhere But Here. It was a rainy night in April, end of our crazy run. We fought about the weather and made love when we were done. You said goodbye, I'll miss you. I said I'll miss you too. Don't know if I believed it, but it felt like it was true. And then you kissed me like you'd never done before. Yeah, parting such sweet sorrow. You walked out my door. And I loved you in Montana, And in San Diego, from Tacoma to Topeka, on up to Orono. Well, I loved you in your letters, and with the phone pressed to my ear, I loved you everywhere but here. Yes, now and then you'd call me from a million miles away, say you wish we were together, and I thought my heart would break, but it never came to nothing. That busted love we shared, we'd have found a way to argue about the color of the air, and so we wandered through our separate lives. Yeah, you know love is a smoke made with the fumes of sighs. And I loved you in Montana and in San Diego, from Tacoma to Topeka, on up to Orono. Well, I loved you in your letters, and with the phone pressed to my ear, I loved you everywhere but here. Like a picture painted by Seurat. Yeah, we were perfect from a distance, but a tempest closer we got. And I loved you in Montana and in San Diego, from Tacoma to Topeka, on up to Orono. Well, I loved you in your letters, and with the phone pressed to my ear, I loved you everywhere but here. Yes, I loved you everywhere but here. That song is called Everywhere But Here. It's on the first record. I think I'm going to play that new song I was telling you about now. Want to hear a new song? Maybe. For the last month or so, me and Jackson, a little longer than a month probably, have been getting together weekly on Zoom to try and write. And this is one that we think we might have finished on Thursday of this week. Yeah. Right now, I think it's called The Salt. We'll see. All right. I don't need you to try and fix this. 'cause you can't. I trust in time you'll come to understand. If my heart had a window, you'd see the darkness and the stardust that made me. It's time to change the weather in my head. Well, I'll fly above these storm clouds up ahead. No stranger to the lonely aches of time. Still these stubborn ripples in my mind. Patience is a virtue, but I wouldn't really know. Some days you float, some days you fall, some days you can't let go. It's not so much the bitter tears as the salt they leave behind. I'll be fine. Shadow follows every grain of sand. It crawls along with no design or plan. Stay with me a moment if you will. Sometimes love is simply sitting still. Patience is a virtue, but I wouldn't really know. Some days you float, some days you fall, some days you can't let go. It's not so much the bitter tears as the salt they leave behind. I'll be fine. Okay, that's new. As of right now, that's called The Salt. And I think I'm rather fond of that. I think I am rather fond of that. I feel things when I play it. I do. We have a request from our friends in the Netherlands for Does the Fish Feel the Knife? So we're going to play that now. Oh, does the fish feel the knife? That's what she asked me. And I did not know how I should respond. She asked me again, said, Daddy, did you hear me? And the answer that I gave will get it wrong. And most things seem kind of simple until you poke at them even just a little. Does the fish feel the knife? What happens when we die? Is it kind of like sleeping? Well, she asked me this, and I was at a loss. I'm driving home from a wake early in the evening. I'd seen her staring up at Jesus on the cross. And you can't say no one knows, not to a girl who's 4 years old. Does a fish feel the knife? You need a license to drive a car, to shoot a buck, to cut a man's hair. Anyone can have a kid. I send you home, good luck, take care. Does a fish feel the knife? Daddy, who's that man? Was he always on the corner? She asked me as we sat there at the light. A cardboard sign, spare a dime or a quarter. Man, there's so much in this world that just ain't right. We let folks slip through the cracks. No, I wasn't gonna tell her that. But does a fish feel a knife? You need a license to drive a car, to shoot a buck, to cut a man's hair. Anyone can have a kid. I send you home, good luck, take care. Does a fish feel a knife? Does a fish feel the knife? Does a fish feel the knife? Does a fish feel the knife? So that song is called Does a Fish Feel the Knife? If you like that song, and if you have a record player, I have vinyl 45 records of that song. Limited edition. They're all numbered and they're all signed. And if you go to terrykleinmusic.com/store, you can buy one of those for your very self, and I will mail it to you personally. Yes, the Terry Klein Music Fulfillment Team has one member, and it is me. So, terrykleinmusic.com/store. Does the Fish Feel the Knife? The A side, the B side is a song called $1, 2 quarters, and a dime. Recorded that with the guys at Need to Know Music out in San Bruno, California, a while ago. Yeah, I mean, when I think, it gets a little weird when you start to think about kind of the year we lost, essentially, and that things that feel like, oh, they were just a few months ago, were like 2 years ago. It's odd. All right, we are past the bottom of the hour. It's 12:36 p.m. It's Saturday, April 10th. This is my weekly live stream. I appreciate you all watching with us live. I appreciate you all who are watching it at your leisure after the fact, because you're gardening or hiking in the mountains or riding your bicycle somewhere beautiful or doing less fun things. Like, I don't want to talk about the less fun things, but I'm just really glad you're all here now, and also I'm glad in the future somehow that you all are going to be here. Well, let's just leave it at that, okay? Oh man, I have no notion what I'm gonna play now. I just don't know. You know what? I'm gonna play the song that I put out a couple weeks ago. That's what I'm gonna try and do. A couple weeks ago, I put out a song called "A Year Gone to the Dogs," it was featured by American Songwriter magazine, which is crazy. to me, when I was first writing songs, I would read American Songwriter and get tips from it, and read insights from writers I really admired and respected. So it was pretty cool to see myself in there, and I'm very happy that they shared that tune. It's up on Spotify, and I'm pretty gratified by the amount of folks who are checking it out and listening to it, and who are listening to it like more than once. That's one of the things about Spotify that is always interesting to me, and it's what I look for with stuff I release. I can tell, you get statistics, and you can see how many people have listened, and you can tell but you can also see how many total listens there have been. And I like it. I like to see my songs, if they're out there, get more listens than there have been listeners. That's what I'm looking for. I want you to come back. I want you to hear something in it that you maybe want to go back and revisit, because they mean different things, right? Kind of interestingly, the songs mean different things depending on your mindset, depending on how your day has been, depending on some new experience you've had. They start to take on a different meaning. I don't know how that works, but it does. So this song is called A Year Gone to the Dogs. I recorded it in this room, and sent it off to Jackson Emmer to get it mixed and mastered, and it sounds pretty darn cool. I'm still not sleeping well though, y'all. I'm waking up a lot in the night. Maybe that's just something that happens as you get a tiny little bit older. But I miss those times when my head would hit the pillow, and then I'd wake up and it would be 6 or something. You just sleep for, 5, 6, 7 hours. I miss that. So this is a live stream where we talk about songs and sleep patterns. Just one-stop shopping. I slept poorly last night, just like I did the night before. Woke up with a start. Short was the devil in the dark outside my door. A watercolor brush run amok on a palette of worry and hard luck. Oh, big weddings, depressing birthdays, just plain hanging out. Thanksgiving and Christmas, all the wandering about. A year gone to the dogs. Yeah, the days are getting longer. Soon it will be springtime again. Just another sad reminder. If I close my eyes, I guess I can pretend that time is an invention and a myth. We do our best, and then it's over with. Oh, big weddings, depressing birthdays, just plain hanging out. Thanksgiving and Christmas, all the wandering about a year gone, a year gone to the dogs, to the dogs. Oh, so that song is called A Year Gone to the Dogs. It is streaming on Spotify, on Apple Music, on Amazon. There's a SoundCloud link in that American Songwriters story. Radio stations here and there are playing it. You can call and ask them to play it, and they might. They might not, though. So there's just all kinds of ways you can listen to it. Remember how it used to be the case, though, when like some artist you liked would release a single maybe before the record was out, and the only way that you would hear it would be to sit and listen to your radio and hope it came on. Do you remember that? I can't tell if I have good nostalgia for that or bad nostalgia for that. You know, because like, it's kind of cool that if you like that song, you can just go find it and listen to it. It's kind of cool that I could sit in my little writing room here and record that and send it off to my friend, and we could master it. And I paid CD Baby, I paid him a real not enough, and I paid CD Baby $10 to put that thing up. It used to be the case that if you were going into the studio, it would be like thousands of dollars. So the barriers to entry are gone, but the revenue stream is kind of gone too, and those two things are related. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's good nostalgia. I don't know if it's bad nostalgia. I just don't know. We're at 12:45 p.m. And this is the weekly live stream. I appreciate y'all being here with me on a Saturday. Barry Kassendorf is here, and whenever Barry joins, when I see his face, his beautiful face pop up, I start to think about my Massachusetts friends and my Massachusetts experiences, and I feel like I have to play Sagamore Bridge. If there's something you want to hear, drop it in the comments. We have time for a few more, I think. And then we'll get out into this beautiful Texas spring day. I wish I could be out in it right now, but by this point, I think if I were trying to sing through the amount of pollen that I think you can almost literally see hanging in the air, if I were trying to sing through it, I would just die. It'll be like, oh, we've hit 12:43 in the live stream, and Terry Klein has passed away. Well, they took out the circle, but the traffic's no better. $60 million just pissed away. You sit for an hour, the baby fills her diaper, but that Huggy ain't leaking. So I guess we're okay. And at Ferretti's and Brewster, roast beef and salami, sliced to perfection. That IBP meat. Folks stand there waiting in tunics and tivas, a little hungover, maybe 1/3 asleep. On a thin strip of sand out in the Atlantic, you can sin like the Kennedys did. Provincetown salt boxes shimmer in sunlight. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. Yeah, that bar band in Wellfleet, they do hits from the 90s at the Beachcomber Pub on Saturday nights. It's like an ad for Viagra, they play Bush and Nirvana. Hit on the barflies and get lucky sometimes. And the rich folks from Chatham, well, they don't like poor folks. Say affordable housing, it won't happen here. And in their black E350s, when they've had 4 too many, they speed on the back roads and T-bone the deer. On a thin strip of sand out in the Atlantic, you can sand like the Kennedys did. Provincetown salt boxes shimmer in sunlight. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. Yeah, the girls in from Russia live in single wide trailers in Yarmouth and Dennis. On summer J1s, they make $4 an hour serving crab cakes at parties and repel the advances of husbands and sons. And on Labor Day weekend, locals stand on the bridges, waving goodbye at the folks on Route 6. Then they head back to their houses, feeling smug satisfaction, mix Coke and Evan Williams, and scream at their kids. On a thin strip of sand out in the Atlantic, you can sing like the Kennedys did. Provincetown salt boxes shimmer in sunlight. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. There's a suicide fence on the Sagamore Bridge. That's Sagamore Bridge. That's the first song on the second record. Yeah. Just about exactly 2 years ago, I was on tour on the East Coast. I played out in Western Mass in Bondsville, and then had a show in Somerville. And while I was driving from Bondsville to Somerville, the Bondsville show is on a Saturday. The Somerville show is on a Sunday. And that Sunday morning, I got an email from Bob Weiser, who runs, I think, the Old Songs Home show on WMOR, Outermost Radio in Provincetown, Mass. He said, "You don't get here very much. You don't get as close to here very much. Why don't you drive out here tomorrow morning? Drive from Boston out to Provincetown, and we'll have you on the radio, and we'll talk and chat, and you can play some songs." And so I did that. It was just about exactly 2 years ago. Drove out and hung out with Bob for that morning, and then drove down to New York and had a show in New York. I think I had a show in DC too. That was a good little tour. That was a fun little tour. I'm slowly starting to get out there, starting to book a little bit more now that things are opening up slowly. I will be on the East Coast in June and July. I don't know that there are going to be any shows associated with that. We'll see. If you're watching and you have a venue and you want me to play in June or July somewhere on the East Coast, we'll be from DC on up, way up to Maine. Just shoot me a message, and I don't know, maybe we can put something together. I don't know. Toward the end of July, though, I'll be playing a few shows in Texas here. One at the Old Quarter in Galveston. We're working on Houston, then go up to Texarkana. That's with my friends Stephen Prigmore, who has a wonderful new record, and Heather Little. who's I think from Lindale, Texas. And Heather is an incredible songwriter. If you know her, you know. Is it Lindale, Texas? I'm trying to remember what the town is. But she's got songs on Miranda Lambert records. She's that good. $12.53. I think I can maybe squeeze 2 more songs in if they're not insanely long. But I don't have any opinion on what I necessarily want to play right now, which is unfortunate. Or maybe it's, I don't know. Let's play Anika. How about that? Does that work? Does that work for you? If I had a wooden leg, you'd steal it and leave me stuck up in a hayloft all alone. If I were Heathcliff, you'd forsake me and then haunt me as a ghost when you were gone. I must have had it coming, I can't for sure say how. It's strange I have this stubborn wish you were right here with me now. And I have fault lines etched across my heart like the cracked up perfect patchwork of the Mona Lisa. And the deepest cut of all belongs to you. Yes, it all began with you, sweet Anika. Oh, sweet Anika. Oh. If I were Jake, you'd be Lady Bread. Your ways leave me desperate and beguiled. If I were Earth, you'd be the temptress moon, sending light across 250,000 miles. I guess I fall in love too easy, and I move on too slow. Some broken things just stay broke, yeah, that's the way it goes. I have fault lines etched across my heart like the cracked up perfect patchwork of the Mona Lisa. And the deepest cut of all belongs to you. Yes, it all began with you, sweet Anika. Oh, sweet Anika. We have time for one more tune. Thank you all so much for being with me here live and those of you who are watching after the fact. I appreciate you too very much. This is my weekly live stream. It might not happen next week at noon on Saturday, depending on how I am doing following my second Moderna shot on Thursday evening. If I can do it, if I can pull it off, I will do it. And that is the plan. And then there's a booked show on the horizon, May 16th, Sunday, May 16th at New World Deli. We will be back in action. The logistics on that remain to be determined. It will be a safe, socially distanced show. I do not believe I'm going to have 3 songwriters up on stage together yet. I do not believe it will be a 3-hour show inside. The things we used to take for granted. But we'll see. It's going to happen. It's just a question of logistics. Man, I just wish I could have that attitude about everything. Don't you? All right. Thank you all so much. I'm going to finish with a short song because we don't have a whole lot of time left. And y'all have a great Saturday, great Sunday, great week. And I hope I'll see you next Saturday. Well, Grandma June and Grandpa Joe lived up in Dutchess County. They had a tiny house on a big old piece of land. And that house was filled with books and sculptures and papers and paintings that take an MFA to understand. Well, sometimes Grandpa Joe, he'd almost lose his temper. He'd say, June, this house is looking like a war zone. She'd put her hands on her hips, tilt her head to the left and say, dull women keep immaculate homes. Well, Grandpa Joe passed, and oh, how she missed him. That tiny house became a shrine to their love, and then she started adopting dogs and cats and hamsters. They kept her company along with the good Lord up above. But Daddy didn't like it, not for one single second. He said, Mama, what on earth is going on? She put her hands on her hips, tilted her head to the left and said, dull women keep immaculate homes. She said, oh, I've been so blessed. Yeah, there's joy in this life and you can find it if you want to make a mess. We lost Grandma June a year ago November. I hadn't cried like that since I was just a kid. We all met up at Uncle Milton's and drank and sang together, told off-color jokes like Grandma June would have did. Then we buried her in the cemetery, right next to her beloved, and Daddy wouldn't say just what he put on her gravestone. I read that epitaph, there etched in granite was, dull women keep immaculate homes. Dull women keep immaculate ho ho ho. Okay, everybody, just have a good week and hug each other and be nice and be patient and kind, and it'll all be okay. Take care, y'all. Thanks so much.